So I wanted to talk about Gene Kane. And if you're in the Philadelphia or Mid-Atlantic area, and you're involved in pro audio and especially tape machines and amplifiers, crown amplifiers and such, then you know the name Gene Kane. He used to work with me at TechCom when I worked there from 87 to 92, so about 5 years. And Gene was in the repair department. And whenever I sold like a 24 track machine, we would have it calibrated and aligned, to just check everything to make sure everything's okay before we, deliver it. So everything was running properly. So I would always have to, after I made the deal, walk over to the warehouse, which was kind of across the hallway and just opening up another door. And there was this kind of a area that all the test equipment was in, and Gene was in there with the other repair guy, Goddess, and it was just the funniest contrast, the two of them. Gene was very proper, and he wore a lab coat, and he had all his diagnostic machines there and all his equipment like shiny and in their places, and he knew where exactly everything was. And Goddess on the other side was using a hammer to fix something. And it's just funny because Goddess just, whatever it took, he would make it work. He usually was fixing keyboards and things like that, but he could fix anything. And both of them came from Sigma Sound Studios. So both were techs at Sigma. So they both knew their stuff, but different approaches on fixing things. So every time I sold a 24 track or anything, a tape machine like that, I'd walk over to talk to Gene. I go, okay, I sold the machine. Can you get it in and align it, calibrate it, get it all up and running? And he would take 45 minutes to tell me who's going to call all the people ahead of this guy to tell them that their stuff's going to be delayed because you need to get your tape machine done. And when I was new, I didn't know what to make of talking to Gene. I would go over there and he'd tell me all this, and I'd walk back and sit at my desk and go, well, what am I going to do? I guess I have to wait. And then it got, the more and more I learned about Gene, he would never tell you the perfect situation. So nothing was ever good. You just had to figure out how bad it was. And if it was really bad, it was bad. But if it was slightly bad, it was okay. So I eventually figured out I just had to go talk to the boss, who was Lou Maresca or Richard Feld. And I'd say, I sold a tape machine. He won't align it right away, and we got to make it happen. And the bosses would have to go over there to talk to Gene to convince him, okay, you got to put everything aside and just work on this tape machine. But he was a funny character. And after TechCom went out of business in I think it was 92, or around there, Gene started Phoenix Pro Audio Services. That was in 5 Points at Cotman and Rising Sun in Northeast Philly. And he had his own repair shop, so you went in there and had things done. And he's still open today. I think it's by appointment only. But I still call and talk to him, and it's just, you mentioned Gene Kane's name, and you immediately, if anybody knows him, it's like and the is dealing with Gene because it takes him forever to give you an answer. So he fixed a cassette, a Tascam 122 Mark III I had over here, and he got that all done for me. And his work is impeccable. I don't know anybody better than Gene on working on tape machines. When we bought, when I was involved in Boys to Men Studio, when we bought the place from Cajun, there was an MTR 90 there that was just beat to hell. We paid $2,000 for it, and I got Gene on it, and the boys, they said, whatever it takes, just get that machine up and running. And all the heads were shot on it, and a lot of the mechanism was beat. And Gene went through the whole thing and made it like brand new. And some people even said better than brand new. And some of the guys that worked at Cajun that came to do some stuff at Stone Creek Studios, which was Boys to Men Studio, use that tape machine. They go, I've never heard that machine sound that great. So you kind of wonder how beat was the machine when Cajun was using it compared to, the way it should have been updated and taken care of. But that was Gene. If he worked on your machine, it got done, and it got done, perfectly. So I did call him, I think about a month ago or so. And I thought, well, it would be great if I could interview him so people could get a taste of what I have to deal with when I talk to Gene. And I mean, he's the nicest guy. And it took me 45 minutes for him to tell me no, he didn't want to do an interview. He didn't want to talk on the phone about it. But in that 45 minutes, he told me all these other reasons that he didn't want to do it. So maybe one day I'll get him to agree to an interview, so I feel like I need to expose the world to Gene, because it's a interesting experience. Even when I talk to Obi O'Brien, he goes, "Oh, Gene." But Gene makes his tape machines work perfectly. So, and I think it's kind of a dying trade, because as these tape machines go away, there's not going to be people like Gene that will know these tape machines like he does. That's a pity that end of the market, it will probably just fade away, because people are just not going to be using them for anything anymore. So there's my Gene Kane story. I thought it'd be interesting in these stories, maybe bring up people that I dealt with and give you kind of a backstory on him. Like I said, Gene, Phoenix Audio Services at Rising Sun and Cotman Avenue in Philadelphia. He's down there. He's doing okay. All right, there you go.